everybody. Welcome to Row 60 of Georgia Football Podcast. My name is Clark Gaines. Joining me today, as always, Adam Thornton.
Boom! Woo!
And this is show number 74. Welcome back.
That
It's
was
been
a
a while.
rusty boom right there for me, Clark. That kind of, I don't know, that kind of the old vocal nodules right there were kind of a little bit rusty. I had to kick the dust off the old boom there. It's been a while. Been a while, Clark, man.
Adam, you sound like you could use a throat lozenge.
I do sound like I could use a throat lozenge, don't I, Clark? That's exactly right. Your favorite word right there, isn't it?
I hate that word so much.
Man. Golly, it's good to be back in the saddle, man.
It
Good
sure
to be
is.
back in the saddle. Just these long, dreary February days, man. This is kind of a pick-me-up right here, right? I mean, both you and I have been just wide open.
Yeah.
Wide open, and have not had time to sit down and record. We keep talking about, like, God, we got to pump an episode out. Not only because we want to, give it to the people to listen to, because I imagine, most diehard Georgia fans like me and you right now, Clark, enjoying family time, work, just the daily grind, but it needs something just kind of look forward to September and Labor Day weekend, Clark, right? And
what you're saying is this podcast is just as much for us as it is
that's
for the people listening.
That's the roundabout way where I'm getting to is for me and you to get together and ramble, man, and feel like it's football season again. So that's why I love being able to do these in the off season, even though it's not a game that we're looking forward to in about 3 days or something when we usually record, or 5 days or whatever, Sunday night before a big football week. But hey, we're going to take what we got right now. We're going to look forward to it. We're not going to wish our lives away, but we're going to be excited about what's coming up this fall, man. And just another year of getting excited about a very good Georgia football team that'll come up.
Yeah.
So.
And just a fun season overall. I mean, man, I look back on this 2023 season, and we're going to reminisce here in just a little bit. But man, it's kind of a weird season. I got to be honest, and I think it has a lot to do with Georgia not being in the playoff.
Right.
But, man, you look forward to this season, though. Good gracious! I mean, just a lot of excitement, a lot of build up to it. I think a lot of build up that's happened well before now, well before January, even before the national championship and the playoffs. I think this has been building up for quite some time. This 2024 season, I'm really looking forward to it. But before we really dive into what that's going to look like, let's go back, and we've got some old news to talk about here.
A lot of stuff's happened since we last put on the headset.
A lot of monumental, like earth-shattering kind of stuff. Michigan, national champions.
Really? Who'd they play? Who'd they play? Oh, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. How anticlimactic,
I
man.
know.
Has there been a least respectful national champion?
Like least respected? Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I'll give them their due. They look good and physical on the lines in the Rose Bowl. Yeah. That was a good game, and they beat Alabama, and it was something we couldn't do. So they earned it. They earned it, Clark. But, golly, did you not just feel watching that game against Washington like we could have beat either one of those teams?
Yeah, and I guess that's how Ohio State felt last year. Not against Georgia, not saying that about Georgia, but about TCU.
It's just football, man. It's just football any given day, and that's why each game matters, and the SEC championship matters. And we talked about that. No need to revisit that. So, but Michigan winning, it's just weird. I never thought Harbaugh would win one there, so he wins it and bolts, and I feel like Michigan will kind of go back to 9-3 type seasons now. Looks like Ohio State is going all chips in on Ryan Day, Clark, and with the whole Caleb Downs situation, which we didn't, but I was very bitter during that whole escapade and just thinking he was coming to Georgia and not. But, Ohio State racking up in the portal, getting the Judkins kid from Ole Miss. It almost seems like the big money guys up there in Columbus, Ohio, Clark, like, hey, Ryan Day, we're giving you all the pieces that you need right now. Yeah. It's do or die. Yeah. It's do or die now.
And, I mean, he doesn't have to face Jim Harbaugh this upcoming year. As you alluded to, Jim Harbaugh is off to the Chargers.
That's right. He's off to the Chargers, but Ryan Day lost to the current head coach for Michigan when he was the interim, Sharon Moore, whatever his name is. I mean, so, he's already behind the 8 ball against the new Michigan head coach. So he's not, he's not, Sharon Moore is entering his first season as the official head coach, but already is 1-0 against Ryan Day.
That's bad.
That was wild, man. but Michigan won it, man. I mean, they were a good football team, but it was weird watching. I was bitter the whole time watching it, and it's been weird after the past 2 years just living in a fantasy, celebrating up until now the Georgia football national championship. Because Clark, I'll be honest with you, man, the past 2 years, my birthday's in February 17th. My wife has gotten me national championship memorabilia both years.
Oh.
So this year, I'm just like, just don't get me anything.
Yeah,
it might give it.
Save up for next year.
That's right. Because there isn't none this year. But hey, no, it was still a fun season. But going back to that, Clark. Really, I have nothing to say about Michigan being national champions. They're gutted now. It's old news. Whatever.
It does feel weird. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody really seems to care. And I think I have a couple of theories on why that may be. First of all, Harbaugh left like 2 weeks after they won. Yeah. I want you to think about this. All right, it's 2021. Georgia wins its first national championship in 40-something years. Kirby Smart's the man to do it. 2 weeks later, he just hangs it up, or he just goes on to an NFL job. Oh. How anticlimactic is that?
Oh, man, it would it'd be a gut punch, man. Yeah. It'd be a gut punch because you'd be thankful that you got to experience it, right, Clark?
Right.
But then, with everybody, what it's looking like now, and then, Harbaugh just took the whole staff. So it'd be like Kirby taking Schumann or Lanning or whoever would be at the time with him to the NFL and just gut the staff. Yeah. And, it would be tough. Thankfully, we weren't in that boat, and hopefully we got a few more years of Kirby left. And it just seems like, man, I could be wrong on this and eat crow, but it seems like when Kirby is done, he will be done in Athens, and he'll just retire. It won't be going to another opportunity. I don't see him being an NFL guy. I know a lot of people wanted to put the rumor mill of NFL head coaching vacancies, Kirby Smart's name to it, but I just don't ever see him being an NFL guy. I don't think what makes Kirby great will translate into a great NFL head coach, much like his mentor, Saban. Yeah. But what makes him great is a legendary Hall of Fame college football coach, and that's the trajectory he has. So,
well on his way for sure.
Yeah.
So going back to Michigan right quick, definitely Harbaugh leaving, that overshadows their championship, but also the fact that Nick Saban retired. How monumental is this? And Adam, we talked about this in the regular season and jokingly said, maybe the only way if Georgia is ever just going to consistently beat Alabama is when Nick Saban retires. And well, here we are.
Well, I kind of thought maybe if he won the national championship, he'd go out on top. But I thought after the Rose Bowl, there ain't no way he's going to lose like that, and that'd be his last game coaching the Crimson Tide. But it was kind of a shock, to be honest with you, because I thought maybe there was a chance after they beat us in the SEC championship. I thought, they're going to cruise to the national championship probably, and that's it. That's going to be it, and that was kind of a little bit to help the hard pill to swallow of losing that game in Atlanta would be like, well, Saban's probably going to go on and win a national championship, and that might be it. But then you lose the Rose Bowl, and I'm thinking, there is no way. He's coming back. He's coming back. And you hear Kevin Steele retires like a few days before him, which is just crazy. And then he's interviewing defensive coordinators, and all of a sudden, boom, hey, it's broke. And I watched Feinbaum on that day. I couldn't believe it. And I love it.
Yeah, I do too.
I love it.
But I got to be honest. I hate being honest sometimes, especially when it refers to something like Nick Saban. Yeah. But I like Nick Saban. I got to be honest with you.
Yes.
I didn't like him when he beat us.
Yes. No,
of course. But, man, I have a lot of respect for him. And when I think of college football, Adam, I think of, from 2004 when he started his tenure at LSU, correct?
He started in 01 or 2000 maybe. Because he won an SEC championship in 01. But he really got him on the map. He upset Tennessee in the SEC championship in 01 at LSU. I think that was his second year maybe at LSU or first. I don't know. But really got on the map when he won the 03 national championship at LSU.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think when I think of college football, generally my mind goes to about the 2004 season to about the 2012. To me, that's pinnacle, that's peak. it might be a few years off, for everyone else. But, man, in those seasons, it was Nick Saban. There was a lot of Nick Saban winning a lot of games.
That's right.
I think it's very fitting, the timing of all this.
That's right.
Because college football, regardless of whether Nick Saban was going to stay this year, is changing drastically this upcoming season. It's incredible the amount of change that's happening, and I think it's just good timing for him to hang it up. It's only going to get even more difficult to start winning championships, especially consistently.
Yes. What else does he have to prove?
Yeah, really.
This might have been arguably his best coaching job. We're not an Alabama podcast by any means, but to be a knowledgeable football guy, you have to respect what he has done there, and you really have to respect what he did this year in Tuscaloosa too. And I think too, what I respect a lot about it, Clark's two things. First off, I don't know when his mind was made up. obviously, but I don't think it was a spur of the moment thing. But for him not to announce a couple of days after the Rose Bowl, like in between the national championship and the Rose Bowl, right there, instead he waited a few days after Michigan won the national championship, and I feel like I really do kind of think he felt like it would take away spotlight of Washington and Michigan in the national championship, and that would just dominate all the college football shows going on, pregame national championship shows about Saban retiring.
Yeah.
And he waited a few days after Michigan won it, and then he announced too.
I mean, it's classy. And there are going to be some Georgia fans that hear that and think, gosh, Clark, wow, really?
No, but
Saban classy? But, I mean, it really is.
It is. And also, man, too, he didn't go on a farewell tour, say, hey, this is my last year coaching, and, where you have all the banner, like another coach, and I respect the heck out of Mike Krzyzewski and Duke. But he went on a farewell tour, and it was all this honoring before the game, all this stuff, Coach K's farewell tour. And it ended in a Final Four loss to his arch rival, North Carolina. His career did. But Saban just kind of, didn't make it about him at all. It was just kind of, it's the end, and it's a new era in Tuscaloosa. Didn't have it, draw it out to be honored, still coaching at Alabama, and have all that fanfare festivity. So I think those are two things that stuck out to me in the sense of, wow, that's a class act. That's a class act, and you got to tip your hat to him.
For sure. And it does stink. He got the last laugh against Kirby.
But,
I mean, at least Kirby beat the man. I will say that.
That's what we said. When me and you talked right when the news broke and said, man, can you imagine how hard it would be to, if we didn't ever beat Nick Saban with Kirby Smart.
That'd be terrible.
It would have been awful. It would have been awful. But you have that night in Indianapolis where the stars aligned and it happened, man. And you could argue there definitely should have been more wins against them, but they were all great games, and it was just two juggernauts against each other, and. And I think there's going to be something now going forward where, Kirby Smart's the undisputed man in the SEC.
Yeah.
And Georgia is the undisputed, program in the SEC, and even the new SEC. You got Texas, coming in there, and some other, promising programs. But there's no doubt that Kirby Smart will be the king in the Southeastern Conference now, undisputed.
You could argue of college football. Easily.
Oh, 100%, man. Yeah, absolutely. College football. That's exactly right.
Who are the coaches right now with active, the college football coaches, I should say, with active national championships?
Matt Brown, who is 106 years old, and he won one in the Stone Age back in the BCS area, the Rose Bowl with Texas. And then Sweeney, of course, Dabo. He with his generational quarterbacks, he won it. And his Osterine, is that how you call it? Osterine use? PhD use, that the linemen used over there in Clemson?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah, the program's faltered since. They came out with the drug scandal that was going on in the hills.
When was this?
Oh, yeah, man. This is like, you could pinpoint it to the decline of the Clemson program.
Interesting.
Like around 2020 or so. They still made the playoffs that year, but... Yeah, it was around then.
Wait, or it was like steroid? Wait, what are you talking about?
Osterine. Is that how you?
I have no idea.
Osterine.
That sounds
That's
right.
a performance-enhancing drug, Clark.
Well, that didn't really help them.
No,
I mean, if you're talking about the offensive line, they were atrocious.
The defensive line. All the players, back in the 2015 to 19 Clemson run. That was being used. Those were PhDs being used, and they got called out on it, and they probably cleaned it up a little bit, and now they're back to being a mediocre football team, still a good football team, and but I'm not going to give them respect.
I'm not either.
Period.
No.
Period. I'll give Alabama respect, but I'm not giving Clemson any respect. That's just what we do on this podcast. But yeah, Australia. The only place in sports where steroids or performance enhancing drugs, Clark, should be accepted, baseball.
Oh yeah. Think about the Barry Bonds.
I was saying about that the other day. Oh, yeah. Jose Canseco, Mark McGuire, home runs, man. People just going over 60 dingers a year. Like, that was the golden age, was the late 90s to early 2000s, Major League Baseball, when everybody roided. Everybody, and did we really think that they were just naturally just jacked guys? Like, when you see Jose Canseco or Giambi in the batter's box, man. And, but that was the golden age of baseball. To me, that was the golden age of Major League Baseball. Was the mid-90s, early 2000s, and you can pinpoint it. That's steroid era. So anyway, going off on that tangent, I just wanted to say that is the only place I think PhDs should be used. or PEDs. PED. I said PhDs.
PhDs. I was like, wait, what?
The PhDs.
PhDs. That's your doctorate degree.
Oh, that is.
That's like that's what you get at the end of your
That's
name.
right. Adam Thornton, comma PhD. Dr. Adam Thornton, comma PhD.
Period.
Yeah.
What would you have?
P period H period D period.
What would your doctorate be in, Adam?
Georgia football history.
Yeah.
Like documentary, and it says Adam, Dr. Adam Thornton, comma P period H period D period. And then underneath it, italicized Georgia football historian.
Ooh. So what would you write your
dissertation? Bottle glasses.
Okay. What would your dissertation be about? Like, what would you research? You know what a dissertation is, right? That's
yeah. Like my primary focus, right? Like what I specialize in. Yes.
It's like the paper you write to make you a doctor. It's
Correct.
You have to have some research involved with it.
So, absolutely.
So what would your dissertation be
about? It would probably be about. I would think I would do the early '80s.
Okay.
The Herschel era.
All right.
Go back. I wasn't alive then, but that would be, and that's what people do. I mean, you don't really research, I guess, as a historian, much of stuff that's happening current day. I mean, even though this is the greatest run right now, it would be going back like before.
Interesting.
Before, like when you get archaeologists, they go back into the Croatian period.
Right.
Research the dinosaurs, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that would kind of be what I would be doing is going back to before my time.
Interesting.
To do. So, anyway, what would your PhD be in, Clark?
That is an excellent question. I have no idea, honestly. You put me on the spot with that. Actually, something in dinosaurs. What is that called?
An archaeologist, right?
Well, archaeologists, they study
bones, right? Oh, yeah. No. It's a
study of dinosaurs.
Oh, that guy that's on that TV show my wife watches all the time. Your wife.
Paleontology.
Oh,
it's ancient life.
What is the guy on Friends? My wife watches that show. There's one of them that studies dinosaurs on there.
Oh, the big tall guy with black hair?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of his name. Everybody's shouting it in the car right now.
Ross.
That's
it. He's a paleontologist. He's a paleontologist, right?
Yeah, him.
That guy. That guy. 100%. All right. We're good now. This went from Clemson
to paleontology.
Osterine to steroids to Jason Giambi and Mark McGuire to PhDs to Friends
to dinosaurs.
That's what I love it.
Oh, good stuff.
We've needed this. We've needed to just ramble about whatever comes to mind.
Yeah. Speaking of dinosaurs, Clemson football. I mean, they're in kind of the dino ages, if you will.
Yeah, because they have not won a national championship since 2018. I mean, I love it. Oh, the Clemson hate is ramping up, baby.
That's right, man. I forget that we get to play them in August too.
Yeah,
that's a great thing.
It's going to be great. I cannot wait. It's something that just really gets you just fired up about life, and I'm juiced about it, man. I tell you what, and for people out there who are kind of either new to the show or don't understand, why does Clark and Adam just hate Clemson so much? We live closer to Clemson than Athens, honestly.
Yep.
And both Clark and I, we hate Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
Hate them. So that's just something that's always going to be. Been since the first episode of this show and always will be Clemson hate. Yep. And geared up because we get to play them again this year.
Oh, man. Don't you wish it were an annual rivalry like it used to be?
It should be. But anyway, cannot wait. That's going to be the next 8 months. Talking about that is going to be glorious.
It will be. Let's talk about UGA players at the Reese's Senior Bowl.
Clark, did you watch the Reese's Senior Bowl?
I watched one highlight.
One
singular highlight.
Did you?
I think I was actually watching a basketball game at that same time, Georgia basketball. We'll get to that in just a second.
Yeah. Hoop Dawgs, baby.
Yeah. But Marcus Rosemary-Jackson, boy, he mossed a guy. I mean, what a great catch. He had a big weekend. Ladd, I think, improved his draft stock from what we're all hearing.
What the experts tell you.
Yeah.
Mel Kiper, Tom show you. He phoned you up, told you about
it. Sure did.
All right.
He was the first. I was the first that he called, so. But no.
I have heard some chatter about old MRJ getting some looks, man. I think he'll be a steal. I mean, he looks like a NFL wide receiver to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I like Marcus Rosemary, and I think injuries really hindered him in his time at Georgia. I mean, I remember, that 2020 game in the rain versus Florida when I think he was getting close to scoring, or maybe he did score.
Yeah, he was number 82 back then.
Snapped his ACL or something.
Or broke a leg or ankle or something, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But, man, he really showed out last year. I think he made some great catches. I think back to that Ole Miss game, he had a big show in there. So
yeah,
I like old Marcus Roseman-Jackson. I wish him well. I think he's going to do great. And
yes,
Ladd, man, I think he's not your quote unquote prototypical NFL wide receiver. He's kind of like a Thielen guy, but man, I'm telling you, somebody
like a Wes Welker.
Yep.
Julian Edelman.
Yep. All those guys have one thing in common.
Yep.
They're really good at football.
That's right. They are. They are. But and this leads to my next question, Clark. Does it hurt Ladd McConkey's draft status that Bill Belichick is not the head coach of an NFL franchise this upcoming draft?
It could be, but maybe a little bit.
Potentially.
A little bit.
Okay.
But, man, you look at his speed. You look at his footwork, man. He blocks on the perimeter. Ladd runs really crisp, clean routes.
Lunch pail kind of guy.
Lunch pail kind of guy.
Hard hat, lunch pail kind of guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love old Ladd McConkey, man. I think if you were to ask me in 10 years who's my favorite dog,
okay,
Ladd's up there in top 3 at least.
Yeah, 100%.
For me.
I agree, too. I mean, you think about the big catches he had, man.
Yeah.
Throughout his time at Georgia and kind of the expectation of him coming in, a guy that wanted to go to Tennessee, grew up a Tennessee fan. Tennessee never offered him. Georgia offers him late, gets him, just great eval. Is what the scouts call it, eval, evaluation, and get Ladd on campus, man. His development, redshirting in 2020, and then you get Brock Bowers and Ladd McConkey, redshirt freshman, true freshman coming in 21 and changed the history. Those two guys, I mean, along of course with others like number 13 of the golden age of Georgia football, and I think in 10 years from now, when I'm talking to my daughter when she's into Georgia football, at the age 11 or so, and we look back on highlights, we'll definitely be talking about McConkey.
Yeah. I'm still getting a jersey. I've been saying this for years, and I don't really do that. That's not my thing. It's not your thing either, getting a college player's jersey to wear.
Yeah.
I might potentially get a white Ladd McConkey jersey. I love our road uniforms. I think they're some of the best looking uniforms in college football.
I agree.
But I'll never forget Mississippi State 2 years ago when he took that, I think it was an end around or whatever, took it to the house. I just told everybody around me, I didn't care if they knew me or not, I'm getting a Ladd McConkey jersey. Now, I've said that about a couple of players.
Yeah.
Also said about Jack Podlesny when he nailed the
Peach
50,
Bowl against Cincinnati.
The 2020.
That's right.
Oh, my gosh. But, it's still waiting.
That's good
still
stuff.
waiting on that one. But
that's good stuff.
No, those two guys definitely showed out on the offense side of the ball. Defensively, we heard a lot about Javon Bullard and Tyke Smith. Once again, I didn't watch the Senior Bowl. Did you?
I watched some of it. I had to get some stuff done that day and went back, watched some highlights, watched some of it in real time, man. But very proud of Tyke.
Yeah.
Very proud of Tyke. I mean, Javon Bullard, of course, we know Javon Bullard, and we know what Tyke Smith does, but does the world know about Tyke Smith, man? Somebody who has battled some adversity, really been patient his time in Athens, really done some good things for Georgia since he's been here in 2021. And to go out on that stage, I think that's a guy who knew that he could use this Reese Senior Bowl as a platform, and he did just that, getting the defensive MVP.
Yeah, he did great.
So, I think he did nothing but increase his draft stock.
Yeah. And, you look at their size, I think Tyke and Javon are both 5'10"-ish, give or take an inch or two, depending on who you ask, too. I mean, you go to GeorgiaDawgs.com, it says one thing. You go to their NFL official, whatever, it says a whole different thing. So, anyway, my point is they play much bigger than their size, right?
They do.
They may be a little undersized, especially for an NFL safety, but, man, they play so much bigger than what they are. And, man, I know both of them, they're going to make some team out there very happy.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, man. I think there's a lot of guys that are going to be in this draft, and that's something we'll do a draft special episode, get more in-depth in that when it gets closer time. But a lot of NFL franchises are going to get some not only great players, Clark, very talented guys, but also guys who know what team – some high character guys know what team chemistry is all about, man, and can be leaders just from day one in that locker room. I feel like has that potential.
Agreed. Oh, excuse me.
Oh, you good?
Let's talk about some guys. So those are guys kind of moving on. Let's talk about some guys coming back.
Yes, sir, baby.
Specifically on the offense and defensive line. And let me clarify right quick. All these topics tonight are actually coming from our Row 60 patrons.
Yes,
so shout out to y'all.
Row 60 patrons.
Thank y'all.
Felt guilty. I was like, we need to get back into it with the patrons, man. Give them some stuff going. And we're going to crank that up. Stuff's kind of slowing down a little bit for me and you. and get back on the saddle now after a little hiatus.
Yeah. I think this one. I think this one comes from old Mr. Russell Harrell, wherever you're at right now. He's probably, you know what? He's probably listening to this on a good brisk February morning jog.
Oh yeah, I love it.
You know,
I love it, man. I miss the Harrell family.
I do too.
Golly, that's just the thing. All these you get football season those months, and then real life comes about after that. But it's so good to get back.
It is
with the family.
Yeah. Well, what's weird about this year, and we'll get on. We'll talk about the players in just a second. But what's really weird about this year is, in the first time of the history of this podcast, we haven't had a national championship celebration to look forward to.
No.
And to see people that we normally get to see throughout the season. We didn't have that this year.
Well, it's killed me because the last game I went to was the SEC championship. And I didn't go to the Orange Bowl like you did. You were down there and getting rowdy for the Dawgs. And I didn't get to make the trip down there, so it's been you
got a bad taste in your mouth.
What I've been used to having 2 games at the end of December and beginning of January
and winning them
both.
both.
I felt like and I was like, man, I feel like it's just been the off season for months. Like we're getting close to the kickoff, right? That we should be under like 100 days right now, right?
Yeah.
Instead of like 190 something or 97 exactly. So, and that's what. I don't know, man. It's been tough, but and then the Super Bowl just ended, and you're like, well, dang, just football just ended actually. But I felt like it's been over for a year.
Yeah, that's what it feels like for sure. Going back to Russell Harrell, he's talking. Yes. He wants to know about the offensive and defensive lines, and I think that's a very valid question because we do lose a few pieces on both sides of the ball. So let's talk about them. First of all, let's start with the offense. We lose Cedric Van Pran, a senior leader, a DGD. And also Amarius Mims, a key piece on this offense.
Key cog.
Yeah, key cog. Both of those guys are going to get drafted for sure. And once again, make some NFL teams very happy out there. Wish them the best of luck. We appreciate them. But we got to talk about this upcoming year. Adam, the fact that we return Xavier Truss and Tate Ratledge is huge.
That's big.
Because we heard about Ratledge, then Truss, that news kind of came a little later on. And, people don't think, Xavier Truss, oh, wow, what a great offensive lineman. I think he's solid, right?
He is.
Is he one of the best? That's up for debate. I don't know. But the guy is solid. He's played a ton of snaps at Georgia, a ton. So bringing those guys back is really, really important.
Yeah, Clark, I mean, getting those guys, it's good to have young talent, veteran leadership mix, man, especially on the offensive line and guys who have played a lot of ball together and have some chemistry, especially when you sprinkle in a few new guys. So getting them back were huge. I think Tate Ratledge is a guy who, missed 2021 season, but has come back strong the past 2 years, and a veteran guy on there. Same with Xavier Truss is a veteran guy. And, I think Cedric Van Pran really has been I think – we're not going to realize how important and good he was at the center position, man. So it's going to be interesting to see who we plug in there and who takes over in that role and the chemistry with them and Carson Beck going forward. But I know I trust Coach Stacy Searles. Having him coming back, man, is going to be big. And this would be his 3rd year now.
That is right. Yeah,
third year now.
Luke left in 21.
Yeah. So I mean, getting some of his guys in, and some of his guys, his recruits guys that he really recruited, getting where they've been in the program for a year or so now, and kind of fighting for some playing time on the line. Still a talented group, man, and I'm excited to see. I think to get to where we want to be in the explosive offense that we have with the weapons we have for skill guys, and obviously with Carson Beck. One of, if not the very best quarterback coming back in the nation, man, and a loaded running back room coming in, then the key pieces, you got to have a good offensive line to block.
Completely agree.
It gives these guys time to make plays happen, put up points, man, and that's what championship teams do now in college football. We've talked about that time in, time out. So I think that'll be very interesting to see, Clark. Who are some guys you're looking at to kind of plug in them other 3 positions in the line?
So obviously Jared Wilson at center. I think that's probably who we're going to see at center there. He played some snaps later in the year too last year. I think more at guard and such, but you'll probably have him there. Xavier Truss probably going to be that right tackle that he was last year. He played a lot of snaps there. He was kind of all over the place, honestly. Well, like a lot of these guys are. I mean, we can say, oh yeah, he's going to start here or there, but the reality is they've got to know they've got to know all positions, honestly, on that line. I mean,
absolutely.
If you're going to play at the University of Georgia or any really D1 level, you've got to be willing to learn all these different positions, and that's tough.
Because if a wide receiver goes down, Clark, there's usually another wide receiver coming into his spot, whether it's, the X position, wherever, right? But on the offensive line, people think, well, if a left tackle goes down, they just plug another left tackle in. No, then it's just musical chairs on the offensive line, rotating guys from guard to tackle, and then that opens up a spot for another guy to come in.
Right.
And you're rotating and shifting guys around depending on the guy who, and heaven forbid it happens, but it's football, it is going to happen. If guys go down with injury, then you got to reshuffle the whole line in a sense. So you're exactly right. You got to have the utility player type guys, if you will, Clark, to be able to play guard inside and on the outside, and different guys who can snap the ball as well.
Yeah.
But I think Georgia's done a good job of that with all three offensive line coaches that they've had in the Kirby Smart era, Clark.
For left tackle, I guess you'll probably see Ernest Green again back there. This is his sophomore season. I didn't realize he was a freshman last year.
Yeah, man. I mean, a highly regarded recruit, and he passes the eye test, of course, and somebody I think who will make a tremendous leap from their freshman and sophomore year.
Yeah. And then also you have Monroe Freeling, who could potentially replace Mims and play that left tackle or right tackle. He's huge, 6'7". I think he's also a sophomore. Might be wrong about
he got a lot of good snaps last year.
He played.
He's got some experience coming back. So, there's a lot of experience. There's really not a lot of just guys that are just really green stepping into the role.
And it's because they've rotated in and out so much. And that's the beauty of this is like people want to know, is there going to be a drop off on the line? I mean, not really.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. And I think they're battle tested guys, Clark. And you think about it. I mean, Mims, as much of a stud as he was coming in, and at times where he flashed, he was pretty inconsistent in his career.
Yeah.
I'll say and I'm not saying that necessarily him, but just injury-wise too, man.
Right.
Injury-wise too, I just think there were some times where he couldn't get healthy, get on the field, and really get to where we were thinking he was going to be if he was going to be the next Andrew Thomas or, the likes or whatnot.
Right.
So I think there's, with having Truss, Ratledge, Ernest Green coming back, Freeland getting some playing time. Dylan Fairchild also is a guy who's gotten some playing time that you'll see on the inside as well. So,
and normally I feel like what happens with us each season, and maybe this is just typical football, I don't know, but it really does seem like we kind of start the year a little slow, but we, kind of gel. And
always, man.
That's just how it goes.
Always. Oh, you're exactly right. I'm glad you brought that up because you're always, man, what's going on with the offensive line right now? But it always seems like later in the year they're in sync. You got the right rotation of guys out there.
Yeah.
And they're clicking, man. And that's how it was with Matt Luke. That's how it's going to be how it's been with Stacey Searles as well.
Yeah. Well, just like the offensive line, there's a lot of rotating on the defensive line. This year we are losing Zion, Logue, and Tramel Walthour. God, those guys have been there since the beginning of time, I think.
Yeah, you're right. I think, they played with Julian Rochester back in the day, right?
Yeah, they actually did.
They actually did, exactly.
Golly.
But yeah, they probably played with old David Pollock, too.
Yeah.
And Quentin Moses, R.I.P.
Meat Cleaver, what's that guy? Was he
Eddie Meat Cleaver Weaver?
Yeah. Was he a defensive lineman?
Yeah, he was a defensive lineman. Yeah, he probably played with them as well. Probably played with Richard Seymour and Marcus Stroud, Clark.
In the 90s. Oh, my
gosh. Kendrick Golston as well was thrown into the mix, too, I believe.
John Jenkins.
Oh, yeah, old John. Still in the
Avery
NFL,
Jones.
by the way, too.
Really?
Yes, sir. Can you believe that? No. John Jenkins, that's a guy who flies under the radar on your Georgia Dog NFL watch list. He's played for a plethora of teams, Clark, but the man's going on a decade career. Speaking of that, just real quick off topic, how about Chris Conley special teams in the Super Bowl?
I was impressed. He made a big tackle.
He made a couple big plays for the San Francisco 49ers. Yeah. A great guy, felt like at Georgia, but he's got to be in year 10, close to double digits.
No. He went.
He's my age, so 15.
He entered the draft in 15.
Did he get hurt in red shirt one year? Is that what happened? He was a freshman in 11 with me, with Malcolm Mitchell and me.
Did he play that 14?
He
played that 14 season because he was the one who got the at Tech. When we got beat by Tech at home, Conley was the one Hudson Mason was throwing to.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah,
right?
And that slant route to the left.
I just remember the play in Knoxville in 13. The catch, man. Golly. Yeah. And but did he play in 15?
No, he didn't play in 15.
All right, see, it was 11, 12, 13, 14. That's right. So, yeah, that's it.
Entered the draft in 2015.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
DGD, man. He is a DGD. You throw that, you know, that term is being thrown around too loosely now, Clark. But Chris Conley is a DGD.
We need to set some criteria for what makes you a GD.
What makes you a DGD?
DGD. I said GDG. My gosh. Oh, man.
Knock it on the Russ a little bit, Clark.
Yeah,
knock it on the old Russ. I love it, man. I love it. But, hey, that had to be noted. So, anyway, back to our defensive line.
And hold up. While we're at it. All right. Miko, come on now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Amazing.
Would not, yeah. I mean, another guy. I mean, he's got 3 rings now?
Almost had 4. One college championship as well.
Oh yeah, that's exactly right, man. So I mean, he scored a touchdown in a national championship and a Super Bowl.
That he did.
So
a game winner in the Super Bowl too.
Right down the road from me and Clark in Bowman, Georgia. So
you know, it was
good to see.
My claim to fame is that I sent a message just in one of my chats the other night. My claim to fame is that I got scratched by someone who caught a game-winning Super Bowl pass.
In the football, and
yeah,
really
in football, we were. I think it was a 7-on-7 camp, and I mean, I wasn't going anywhere. Miko was playing DB. I mean, corner. He was lined up right in my face. I wasn't going anywhere, and I had to fight to get off.
Miko was cornerback, and you were the wide receiver. On the 7-on-7.
And I mean, I wasn't, like I said, I'm not going anywhere. I couldn't make any move on him.
Yeah,
and I mean, we had to. You know, you don't have pads on this kind of 7-on-7. It was just a camp, whatever, but. He did end up scratching me because I was trying to fight to get off of him. But anyway, it's kind of my claim to fame there.
Oh, there you go. I love it, man. I love it. That's good stuff. That's
not
good stuff.
That's I tackled him.
You were scratched by him.
Yeah. Not I tackled him or maybe I sacked. No, nothing like that.
Mine is I was in the pile with Deshaun Watson one time. I wouldn't quite say I tackled him, but a group of us were.
Okay.
Brought him down. A quarterback.
Oh man.
He hadn't won a Super Bowl yet to be to be able to get to your level of fame. Say it had about getting scratched by Miko. Yeah. But
oh man. Well,
interesting.
Good for the Dawgs. Good for Robert Bill's on the Chiefs.
Malik Herring.
Sorry, the 49ers.
Yeah, Malik Herring, you look, and then Charlie Warner.
Yeah.
Charlie Warner, great guy. I mean, what he's done, man, in the league, just his blocking has just got him to where he's at. I think he's only caught 4 career receptions.
Really?
He does a good job blocking. But he blocks, man. He's in a lot. Saw him in there a lot. So shout out to Miss Kathy Warner and Mr. Kent Warner and the whole Warner family.
Up in Rabun.
Miss them up in Rabun County, but Charlie just doing great things.
Yeah. All right, going back to the defensive line right quick. Losing Zion, losing Trammell. But, Adam, we've got a very hungry and hopefully healthy this year. Tyrion Ingram-Dawkins in another year of both Warren Brinson and Nazir Stackhouse. Veteran guys right here.
Yeah.
Or at least in Warren Brinson and Nazir.
Oh, yeah, man. And getting Ingram-Dawkins back, I felt like when we got him back in the back half of the year, you could tell a little bit of a difference in the line when he was in there when he first came back. So another year of progression, another off season lifting weights and getting stronger. I love saying that. We say that every year, but it holds true. Of course, it holds true. But Warren Brinson and Stackhouse coming back, man, is that's huge, Clark. Getting Nazir back in the middle, a guy who we talked about. I said this on the pre-show last year that could be a guy who can make himself a lot of money. But coming back this year, I think he can. Hopefully, he'll have a healthy year as well. But again, on this line, you got some veteran guys who played a lot of snaps and some very young talent coming in, and especially Clark, the freshmen from last year who are going to be sophomores. I think are going to be your next elite interior guys and your Jordan Halls and your Jamal Jarrett's of the like, man. I think you're going to see them. They flashed last year at times, but I think this year now coming is when you're really going to see them and get nationally recognized.
Absolutely.
I feel like.
Yeah. I think we all, if we're being honest with ourselves, we do want to see a little bit more dominance up front with the line. I think that's reasonable. That's fair to say. Man, I was watching Michigan. What they did to Alabama was not even close to what we were doing. Now, granted, it was probably a totally different scheme.
Right,
I don't know.
Right.
But it just seemed like Michigan's line was dominating.
They're
getting a good push.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, is it scheme or is it, hey, we're just not getting it done?
Well, they did to Milroe what I was hoping we would see Georgia's defensive front do.
Yeah.
I mean, he was uncomfortable all night, man. And multiple sacks, pass rush, and that's been a huge thing for Georgia fans. Where's the pass rush at? Where's setting the edge? I know we're getting the outside linebackers as well with that. But last year you don't have a Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis that we were so spoiled with the previous years before that.
Devontae, throw in Devontae and Trayvon.
And Trayvon Walker. That's exactly right. I mean, really,
though,
you're exactly right.
Think about where we've come from.
These studs and what they're doing in the next level right now. I mean, that's an embarrassment of riches. You're not going to have a room like that, I think. And
maybe ever
again. But the good thing is you look back and say you catch that in. You won 2 national championships off of that, having that talent, intermingling with each other those couple of years. So I think though, Clark, that Jordan Hall though and Jamal Jarrett are going to be your next big guys. Now I'm not saying would they be as good as Jalen Carter or Jordan Davis or any of them? No, I'm not going to put that standard on them, Clark.
They can prove that.
They can prove that. But having Trey Scott back too, getting him back, I thought we might lose him this year to a defense coordinator position, going up to North Carolina or somewhere, Arkansas. Yeah. But having Trey coming back, man, I mean, it's proved himself time and time again with the development of these guys on the line. And you got the young talent coming in. So, I mean, I think it's going to be interesting. I do think it's going to be a better defensive line play this year than we saw last year.
I hope so. I think it will be. And not to say it was just abysmal or anything, but it could have been better.
Well, I mean, I'll be honest with you. That's the difference in national championships, Clark.
It starts up front. Yeah.
I think that is the most you could talk. Obviously, you need quarterback play. Obviously, you need skill players at wide receiver, NFL caliber guys at wide out. But I feel like, man, the defensive line, you have to have that be the standard at Georgia to get where you want to at Georgia.
Yeah.
And I feel like, and Kirby said it at the beginning of the preseason, man, that the tail of this season is going to be on the defensive line. And I feel like, not to single them out, but just me personally, me just spouting off at the mouth, if there was better defensive line play, then, and I'll throw in linebackers too, the second level, defensive front play, then there was going to be a third straight trophy hoist.
Yeah. Woulda, shoulda, coulda.
And that's right. There's really no reason to go back. But anyway, you heard that in the preseason. I mean, we were crazy enough because you heard some people say, which really looking back on is just stupid, that this defensive line could be one of the best, but it didn't live up to that expectation. And we saw what happened. And you got to have elite play on the defensive line in the SEC to win the SEC championship and go on and win the national championship. And we've seen that a lot under Trey Scott in the University of Georgia. And I'm excited to hear how the spring goes with them. It's going to be fun on both sides in the trenches, seeing who's showing out, man, and see where they're at after the end of last year in the spring and going into fall camp.
Adam, you mentioned Jordan Hall. He was a freshman last year. He's a sophomore this year. Looks great. He's going to be a stud. Adam, I think another Jordan Thomas, coming in, freshman recruit. Man, I watched some of his highlights in high school, and I mean, there's only so much you can deduce from that, but he looks good. So there's a lot of talent, and I mean, it's just a matter of getting them in spring practice and seeing who's looking the best, and
that's right.
Starting to develop these guys. So
that's right.
We got a good one in Trey Scott for sure.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
All right,
let's talk about the running back room, Adam.
Woo, man!
Golly, can you believe the amount of talent in this room? It is unreal,
unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Dale McGee, another guy. Been there from the beginning, since December 2015 with Kirby Smart. Been through every season of the Kirby Smart era, right there in that running back room. Coached some dang good ones. Recruited some dang good ones. I mean, you look at Nick Chubb before he got hurt, Clark, what he's done in the NFL. What James Cook did this year. What DeAndre Swift, and what Sony did in his time in the NFL. I mean, he had a good career looking back on. I know he didn't play past last year? Did he retire before last year? Is that it?
Yeah.
But I mean, you got DeAndre Swift and James Cook were in the Pro Bowl. Yeah. And Nick Chubb would have been if he would have stayed healthy. So, I mean, all guys coached by Dale McGee, right? And a couple of them recruited by Dale McGee to come to Georgia. Yeah. So, I think there is that talent I'm not going to say you have the next Nick Chubb in there, but you have elite talent in that running back room. Yeah. And I love how George is able to recruit these guys in and say, hey, how they're able to keep such an impressive stable of backs, Clark, in a very transfer portal happy era that we're in right now, because you're pitching these guys, hey, look at these guys in the NFL. Yeah. Look at the carries that they had to split. It's not like I always think of Gus Malzahn running Kerryon Johnson into the ground in 2017.
Thank you, Gus.
Yes, you don't have those. some of these coaches get these backs and just, I mean, a running back's lifespan in their football career only has a certain amount of carries, I feel like. And what Georgia does is you have enough carries to make to make a difference and get your name out there and show your talent, and obviously get to go to the NFL like these guys have, but they don't just ride you into the ground. Del McGee and Kirby Smart and whoever's the offensive coordinator, that's what I feel like they do such a good job of rotating guys, still guys getting their carries, getting their yards, and keeping everybody happy in the room. But at least that's how it appears from the outside. And I think it'll be no different this year with the impressive studs that are in that room.
Yeah, and I think there's a good variety of running backs. Exactly. That sounds kind of weird, but I mean, you always have a guy who's able to catch out of the backfield. You always have a guy.
Kenny McIntosh, James Cook.
Exactly. You always have a bruiser. You always have a speedster. So, and I think we've got a good combination of all these guys. Let's talk about some of them.
Yeah.
Obviously, Trevor Etienne. You heard that right. He's coming in.
That's right.
Been under a rock or something. He's coming in from Florida, the enemy. This time last year, we didn't really like Trevor Etienne. But this year, hey.
Oh, love Trevor.
Let's go, Trevor.
Might get a jersey.
Is he wearing number 7? I think he's wearing 7.
Is he?
No.
I don't know.
He may be.
I don't know. I don't know.
If he's wearing 9,
well, Lawson Lucky. I mean, is he?
Yeah. If he's wearing number 9, I will not be getting any sort of Trevor Etienne jersey because it's too close to his brother.
That's
Travis.
Exactly right. That's exactly right. But
anyway,
no, he's going to be a stud, Clark. I don't think people realize the impact that he will make on the 2024 Georgia offense. Having him in that backfield, man, he is a player. And when you put him lined up with Carson Beck, the other skill guys, and hopefully what we just touched on, a very competent offensive line, then I think he's going to eat.
Yeah. We also get a healthy Branson Robinson and a healthy Roderick Robinson back. I'm going to tell you something.
The Robinson boys.
The Robinsons.
Bruisers.
Deadly. This is going to be, maybe I shouldn't put this on them.
Do it. Why not? It's the middle of February. Do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Go ahead.
I'll say this. I think this is the closest we'll get to the Chubb, Sony kind of 1-2 punch.
Whoa, with the Robinsons?
With the Robinsons.
Or one of the Robinsons and Etienne.
Maybe that. Yeah, I like that better. Now we'll go with that.
Yeah.
I just think there's too much talent for it to not be close to what was our 2017 running back room. God, we had DeAndre Swift then.
Yeah, true freshman DeAndre Swift, man. I mean, I remember that his most memorable carry, and I feel like in a Georgia uniform was the SEC championship against Auburn that year to make it 28-7, like put the dagger in him, man. Yeah. I'll never forget that moment and watching him come around that edge, man, and scamper to the end zone. And that's when you knew. That's when you put the nail in it that Georgia was going to win and go to their first college football playoff. So, but yeah, I think Branson Robinson obviously had a great year in 2022. Clark capped it off with a great national championship game performance against TCU, and then unfortunately had the injury going in camp before 2023. And then Rod Robinson, as a true freshman last year, I think that he had some good carries. He obviously got banged up a little bit, but he looked good in the Orange Bowl, didn't he? I mean, he looked like that bruiser. I mean, just very physical, very physical, and I expect him just to get even more. Both of those guys, man, are just going to run over you between the tackles.
I turned around and let some Florida State fan know. This is uncalled for. We were just steamrolling them. And I mean, it was something like 49. I mean, we were beating the mess out of them. But I said, that kid's a freshman.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So, I mean, Clark, who do you think Etienne is going to be your guy? That's going to be your Kenny Mack, James Cook?
Yeah.
The ball out of the backfield?
I think so.
Do you think Dylan Bell will be, after what he did in the back half of the season, finally just get to focus primarily on wide receivers?
Yeah,
stud? Or do you think we'll get him lined up in the inside and kind of use him a little bit?
We could. I mean, I certainly think there's going to be some packages. I think Bobo likes to spice it up a little bit, and that'd be a good way of doing it. Hey, the kid can throw the ball too. Dylan Bell threw.
I mean, we're getting way ahead of ourselves on this one, but when we get to the season preview show here in a few months,
oh boy,
when my love for Dylan Bell and really this whole offseason, Dylan Bell, man,
he's a stud.
Thank God he's coming back to the University of Georgia, man, and didn't go chase the money transferring somewhere else out, because I think he is going to be a name to remember in 2024 as a guy who is going to just get up to that next tier.
He's a stud. We're going to save the receiver talk.
Yeah.
Just for a little bit.
But it's getting too exciting.
I know. We've got so many good pieces on this whole team. And then, so, all right, Etienne, the Robinson bros, That's what I'm going to call him.
Yep. There we go.
I think that's your top 3 kind of in and out, rotating in and out. That's not to say that other guys won't play because, I mean, you got a healthy Andrew Paul, who's a stud. You got a Cash Jones, who's had a lot of snaps. Like, these guys are going to keep rotating in and out.
Yeah, exactly right, Clark. I mean, one thing about Andrew Paul was I really appreciate him sticking with it. He easily could have just transferred. So, man, look at these guys coming in. ATN coming in, man, I'm getting past. Stuff hadn't worked out for him. He could have really just sulked about that because, I mean, his true freshman year in 22, right, that he was a lot of people were talking about him in the sense of how good that he was going to be, and then he tore his ACL. And then I just felt like even though he got some carries last year, not a lot of meaningful ones, it just still didn't look like he trusted that ACL, Clark, right? So I think hopefully this year he trusts that ACL more, and I feel like he'll be a guy that hopefully gets some meaningful carries, because I really think the potential's there. And I mean, just another weapon in that room.
For sure. All right, let's switch sports. We don't do this.
Whoa, I love this rapid fire. Just going, you know, I mean, this is a very disorganized episode. We're just getting back in the swing of it, man. Touching on some stuff we need to touch on. So yeah, let's. Is this the first time in Row 60 history we've talked about anything outside of Georgia football?
I mean, we've had a couple of podcasts or a couple of episodes way back when we just kind of we did a Q&A kind of thing. Way back when.
But I mean, all right.
Anyway, this one comes from Jim Wilcox. He wants to know about sports outside of football, right?
Yeah.
And I'll be quite honest, I don't keep up with many sports. I do keep up with the big 3, which is baseball, football, basketball. Not very good. I don't keep up with them a lot.
Gymnastics is in a bad spot.
Yeah.
It's in a bad spot.
What do you mean? Like,
we just keep losing.
Really?
From my understanding of
it. The Gym Dogs are like the best.
Well, they used to be back in the Suzanne Yocklin era. But we're kind of, I feel like all right, let's have our Gym Dog.
I don't know anything about Gym Dogs.
The Gym Dogs, Clark, I mean, the SEC gymnastics is like SEC football. That's the best there is, right?
Okay.
So, from my understanding, I'm not a diehard gymnastics guy, but it's just, I hear just Georgia chatter.
Wait. I got to tell the people.
Yep.
Oh, man, we need to resurface this video. Adam Thornton, back in the day, this was a long time ago. You did some gymnastics, didn't you?
Kindergarten for 3 months.
Nice.
My parents, somebody told my parents that it would help with flexibility for baseball
that makes
or whatever.
Sense, yeah.
And it was a train wreck. It was a train wreck. It lasted for 3 months, and they pulled me out because I just did not. It was not a good. It was not a good deal.
Oh,
it was not a good deal.
Sorry,
but my Olympic dreams were crushed at an early age of 3 months in gymnastics.
Man.
But as far as Gym Dogs, Clark, because didn't Jim ask about the Gym Dogs?
He did.
I think we're in a little bit of. You got probably one of the most legendary gymnasts, Courtney Coupettes, who won a national championship or 2, possibly under Suzanne Yocklin at the University of Georgia.
Okay,
kind of one of these deals, Clark, where I'm trying to compare it to a football deal, where kind of a Scott Frost at Nebraska deal.
Okay,
you bring home the favorite son to be, that was a kind of a poster child of the golden era.
Okay.
Right?
At your school.
At your school and that sport. To kind of bring back the glory days of their coach, like Tom Osborne, Coach Frost, Suzanne Yocklin, Coach Courtney Coupettes.
Okay.
Right? And it just hadn't panned out.
Not yet. Okay. So how long has this girl been there?
Coupettes. I think been there long enough that there should be.
Oh, so there's some grumbling.
Possibly being terminated after this year.
Oh, really?
I really don't know what I'm talking about. But I think there is. I really do think there is a chance they could fire Coupettes, which could be, for the diehard Gym Dog fans out there, will be tough. It'll be tough because she is a Georgia gymnastics legend.
All right.
But the standard that was been set for decades hadn't been there in a long time. Long time. They're getting smoked.
Oh.
Hey, the Gym Dogs hadn't been respectable in years. Even the coach before this one.
Wow.
It was, I think, a Yocklin assist. I mean, I think it's time, Clark, that that Josh Brooks looks like we got to get out of the Yocklin tree. When you kind of get, and this happens to many programs in many different sports, you want to just keep hiring from the same tree, right?
Right.
And then it's time to kind of branch out a little bit.
Move on.
Get
some new blood.
Grow a new branch.
I see. Okay.
Or grow a new tree.
I was about to say, new tree.
That's exactly right. Go and put a new tree in the ground. So anyway, that's the Georgia Gym Dogs update from my knowledge. Not good.
You know what we're going to start doing?
Good.
We're just going to update the people on a random Georgia sport. We're going to spin a wheel.
Yes.
We get a wheel of all the sports.
Talk about equestrian.
Oh, man.
softball,
golf, tennis,
swimming,
tennis is
and
good,
diving.
I think.
Swimming and diving under old Coach Jack.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I think he's retired, hasn't he?
Mm-hmm. Track and field is good.
Yeah, respectable. Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah,
we'll do that. That'll be good, especially during the off season.
Let's talk about Georgia basketball. Well, we'll get to baseball, but basketball, man. You know, I just have very, very low expectations for Georgia basketball. So honestly, you know, I think the current record as of right now is 14-10.
On a 5-game losing streak.
On a 5-game losing streak. But, man, I'm not that disappointed. I mean, I am to some extent. But here's the thing. And I'm very open, and I admit this.
Yeah.
I am a very fair-weathered fan when it comes to Georgia basketball. If we're halfway decent, I'll get into it. But if we're bad, no. I don't care.
They frustrated me this year.
Oh, I know.
But not,
they're competitive, though.
It's been the first year that you go through the SEC slate, and every game's competitive. But they're so close. You look at so many games where they just blew it.
Yep.
They just blew it.
Tennessee,
but then they come
Kentucky.
back, and you're so proud of them coming back from large deficits. Like they really made it a game in Lexington, Kentucky the other week. And Gainesville, Florida coming back from like 20-plus points. And
they
then
beat
just
Florida State.
Yes, beat Florida State. But then almost beat Tennessee in Athens. You know what I mean? So many games where Arkansas slipped, Alabama slipped away. That they had it. There's just like they're just this close from, and you know, and it was fun for a while. There was some tournament chatter. You know, some tournament chatter going on.
Not even NIT, like the big boy,
the big dance. That's exactly right. I mean, we were gonna take a girl to the big dance, Clark.
Yeah, that's not happening.
But it's not happening now unless you make a miracle run like they did in 08 in the SEC tournament, which would be tough to do. But maybe the NIT. I don't know. That's slipping. They need to get back on a winning track, finish out the year.
Yeah. I don't know much about basketball. I don't know much about the Hoop Dogs, but what I will say from my analysis, I know enough about basketball to generally speak on it. I do think we need to be a little bit more physical in the paint.
Okay.
I just don't like how we allow way too many points in the paint that aren't contested.
Are we not good with the 5 position?
I would say that. God bless him. I can't even pronounce his name, but yeah. Yeah, I think we're a little soft. Not saying I could do any better because, I mean, I'm 5'11", sometimes 6 foot. Depends on what kind of shoes I wear.
Well, I can't get out better. I'm like 5'3".
Yeah.
So I mean,
we get postered out there.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, yeah, probably, you know, missing a key recruit or two. I mean, let's give Mike White his credit.
Oh, yeah.
Tom Crean was the worst coach in Georgia history of any sport.
Oh, man. I mean, you can make that argument.
I don't care what golf, tennis, equestrian, whatever. What you go back in the Georgia archives, I can't think of another coach who has left a program in shambles when they left Athens more than Tom Crean and what Mike White had to inherit. So I think the Mike White hate
needs to simmer down.
Because
I'm with you.
I mean, how in the world could he change? I mean, it's not like he was handed what Kirby was with Mark Richt. Now, of course, Kirby took it to a new level, but, I mean, you know, Mark Richt left the football program in a good state. Georgia basketball, there's really no history there, not since Hugh Durham left, and Herrick had a good run. But, I mean, he was worse. Mark Fox was respectable, decent, right? Dennis Felton at least made a dance, won an SEC tournament and a miracle run, not really that great. But Tom Crean's just been awful. He was awful.
He was terrible.
So Mike White is definitely a step above. So give him another year or two. I mean, it's Georgia basketball. For crying out loud,
and
man. I mean, it's been fun to watch this year. They're competitive.
Yeah, and you think about it, man. I mean, 3-4 games go your way instead of the opposite. And I mean, you're really close games. Yeah, you're on the bubble.
You might be
the last 4 out.
You might be in Joe Lenardi's last 4 out, but my gosh, your graphic is on display in the ESPN tournament.
Yeah,
predictions. I mean, I just want to be in the conversation.
Me too.
I mean, how fun would it be? I've been to a tournament game with old Nimi. You remember?
Nimi Jursic.
Yeah. One of Fox's teams in 14.
Yeah,
in Charlotte, we went opening round against Michigan State. Got beat.
Charles Mann too, right?
Yeah. Pope was there.
Pope, yeah.
And he's still in the league, doing really good. Doing really good.
Man, that's a good team.
I mean, but you think about it. I mean, Tom Crean had arguably one of the best players in the NBA right now. Number 1 overall draft pick, right? Anthony Edwards. What is the number 1 overall draft pick?
I have no idea. Probably.
Or at least a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
And he was atrocious.
Yeah.
I mean, it was atrocious. I mean, if Mike White had Anthony Edwards on this team right now, Clark, it's a tournament team, right?
I think so, honestly. Oh, well,
I'm giving my best Jay Billis analysis right now. I mean, right? I mean, you know, do you think we're playing too much man?
I think we're not playing enough 1-3-1. Listen, the 1-3-1 when we play it, I know that's a little more aggressive.
Oh my God, you want the 1-3-1?
I want the 1-3-1 because anytime we're in it, we're actually a little more aggressive. I know that's your Hail Mary. I know, but
okay, yeah. So you think we need to be a little bit 1-3-1?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you think we need to go full court more?
I think so. Listen, you look at Tennessee. I'm not kidding. You look at Tennessee. That team right there, I mean, they're one of the best. They're like literally, they're top 5.
Yeah, I mean, they got a legendary coach, Rick Barnes, man.
I know, but I'm just saying,
the big one, but he's good.
Yeah, but man, they press a lot. They're very, very scrappy. I just don't see that out of Georgia yet. I mean, we're getting there, maybe, but it's a culture thing.
I think you do need to press, but I think you need to get the athletes to get in their face and press, man.
Yeah,
and then I think you need to run and shoot.
Okay.
I think you need to push the ball. I think you need to get up a good fast tempo style play. Let's not slow the thing down. Let's press. Let's get some turnovers. Cause some havoc.
Yeah.
Get some turnovers, man, and move the ball around. And
that's what Tennessee
play
does.
Fast. Play fast, Clark. Right?
Yeah. And I'll say the times I've watched Georgia basketball this year, I just don't like the shot selection so much in some games.
Is it not good? I mean, if you put the graphic on there, is there a bunch of red X's instead of
sometimes?
Greens?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Do you think we're shooting? We're not pushing. We're not being patient enough getting the ball inside more, or do you think we're taking too many long twos? From the
long twos that are too early in the shot clock. Right. There could be 2 more passes you make, and you get a better look. You know what I mean? But it's like sometimes
is that coaching or is that lack of experience?
I think that may be lack of experience.
Honestly. You think so?
Just because if I know that's not
just not good vision.
Mike White is
not good vision. I mean, but you know, you do got to drop some stuff, and get some good passing lanes to get the ball inside the paint. Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
we really need to talk some X's and O's on basketball more.
God, this is like
we're knowledgeable.
Dick Vitale and Seth Greenberg having a conversation right now.
Dipsy do Dunkaroo, baby.
I mean, I do feel like Clark. I mean, I feel like. Honestly, though, I feel like when Georgia is hot outside the perimeter,
we're a good team.
Yeah,
they're
good.
We're streaky,
but when they go cold, they go
cold quick. Yeah,
that's all I have to say about it.
You know, there was one game. I mean, we scored maybe 13 points in the second half. You're not gonna beat anybody scoring 13 or something like that.
You know, when I'm watching the basketball game, the Georgia you know, my favorite thing to say.
What?
Push the ball.
Yeah.
Push. Let's push. Let's push it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, get up, you know.
Mine is rebound.
Box
them out.
Tell you a frustrating thing in basketball for me, Clark.
Oh, boy.
Like, what in football, I'm trying to think of the football equivalent is in basketball is when the opposing team gets the offensive rebound.
Oh,
gets another board.
Especially on a free throw. Like no. I guess it'd be a defensive rebound at that point. But like when your guy is in the middle between 2 other guys sandwiched.
Right, on a free throw.
And they're shot. And they're the ones that get the rebound. That's not good.
No, that's never a good thing. But that's just like, so what's the football equivalent of that, Clark? Getting a stupid penalty on 3rd down on defense, not getting off the field.
Yeah. That's
or giving up a 3rd and 14 and giving up a pass along 17-yard pass or something like that. I mean, just free possessions. I don't like free possessions in any sport.
Oh man,
another opportunities. So yeah. Anyway, okay.
What a great conversation we're having here. Oh man, all right, we're going to continue this great conversation.
All right, let's go
with part 2 of Mr. James Jimothy Wilcox's. There's a lot of names we have for you, Jim. Part 2 of his question was asking about Sanford Stadium upgrades. How is that going to affect Section 108, Row 60, where we sit, right? Thankfully, as of now, all the renovations, all the upgrades, all that stuff is happening on the other side, which would be the southwest end.
The home side.
The home side, where we point to the
Trumpeteer.
The lone Trumpeteer.
To the south side of the campus.
Yep. So, anyway, Sanford Stadium is in the process of getting new club seats. So, what they're doing is they're ripping out the old press box, which is actually kind of sad because it is it's kind of a historic place. If you ever go inside, it's really old, like out of date. Like it definitely needs to be updated. Now it's non-existent.
Munson was there.
That's my point. Like, Munson was there. Think of all the awesome calls that he had in his booth, and it's going to be gone as far as I know. What they're doing is they're replacing those seats, or that box, rather, the press box, with club seats. And the reasoning is, those are prime seats. I mean, if you've ever had the chance to go up to the press box, or right above the press box, in the 300 level, that's a really good view.
It's not the common man's.
No, it's not. It definitely isn't. No, especially what they're doing, the renovations.
It's not the row 60.
It's not the row 60 people. Maybe there is somebody out there listening.
Might be.
That might be sitting in these new 200 level club seats. We'd like an invite.
Yeah, we'd like a review.
Yeah.
Give it to us.
Anyway, so that's what they're doing there. And yeah, I mean, it's just too prime a position to not sell those seats. That's why you see stadiums like Mercedes-Benz, SoFi, all these new stadiums that they're building, they're pushing the press box away from the middle of the field and more into the corner. So the new press box is actually going to sit up in the corner, far away from the action. And, that kind of stinks, but it is what it is. So anyway, that's what they're doing up there.
Nice.
Let me make this note too. Speaking of press and media relations, let's shout out old Claude Felton.
Let's tip a hat.
Tip a hat, man. Claude Felton, for those who don't know, he announced his retirement. He's a DGD, truly. Served as Georgia's sports information director since 1970, like 6 or 9 or something. He's one of the reasons our players, they say the right things in front of the press, in front of the media. That's why you don't see our guys giving the other team a lot of bulletin board material.
Just a good PR guy.
Great PR guy.
Great PR man.
Just well respected in the Georgia football community and Georgia athletic community, I would say. So congrats on your retirement, Mr. Claude.
I'd love a penny for every time I'd hear. Well, you have to ask Claude about that.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. New press box. Talked about that. $68.5 million renovation in Sanford. I think this is phase 2.
That's right.
What comes next, Adam, after phase 2? I mean, surely it's not like they're going to be done forever. What do you think? If you could just throw something out there, spitballing right now.
A dome. A retractable roof.
Okay.
Right? I mean,
you shot for the moon there. I did not see that one coming. I kind of like that, though, honestly.
I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, it's the arms race of college athletic facilities, stadiums. It's wild. Just give me a metal bleacher.
Yeah.
That's all I need.
On row 60,
is the view of campus, metal bleacher, open in, leave the Sanford Stadium, the open in right there, looking, gazing out at campus right there. Just don't touch it anymore. That's good.
See, Adam, I don't know.
You want to close the bad boy?
What I'd really like to do, just hear me out, is take the 300 level. I think I've talked about this before on the podcast. Take the 300 level.
Right.
Take it around and connect the two.
Okay.
Okay. But you still have an opening from where the top of the 100 level sits to the bottom of where the new 300 level would sit. Okay. So there's still an opening beside the scoreboard on either side.
Is that going to be structurally sound?
There's no way that stands.
I mean, what kind of engineering do we need to do to make that happen? I mean, what kind of bracing needs to be to make that safe and secure?
Something out of this world.
That would be cool, though. Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Anyway, yeah, so as far as it affecting us, it doesn't really. But yeah, Sanford Stadium upgrades. And then last thing we'll talk about, I think this would be a good way to end the show right quick.
Get fired up about what's on the horizon.
Let's look towards 2024 in this Georgia football team. Early predictions, Adam. I'm going to start with a couple of ideas, thoughts that I have about this team. Maybe some things that probably shouldn't be said, but I'm just going to put it out there.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that's what we do is just say bold pro Georgia predictions.
Yeah. I'm going to start with this one. Adam, I look at this wide receiver room.
Yeah.
This is definitely going to be one of the top 3. I would maybe even argue the best wide receiver room, top to bottom, that we will ever see at the University of Georgia.
Wow.
I'm serious about that.
All right.
There's some look, I'm well aware of what we just lost. We lost a stud, Lad McConkey, a really good Marcus Rosemary-Jack Saint. We lost Brock Bowers, and I'm going to lump the tight ends into this too.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Well, maybe I shouldn't.
It's hard. It is hard with number 19 and 84 leaving.
Yeah.
Making that. But from top to bottom.
And you had a George Pickens at one point with those two guys. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm eating crow after this.
They didn't. Pickens didn't play.
That's a good point. Yeah.
A couple games, right?
That's a good point. So let me start with these guys. Let me just read these names, and this is why I'm saying this. Okay. We get a Ra Thomas back. Correct. That's big. Yeah. I mean, kids, he proved himself.
Yep.
Yeah, especially later in the season. Colby Young, Miami transfer, unproven. We don't know what he's going to do at Georgia. What we have seen at Miami, he's a big guy.
Get up and catch the ball.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Not your prototypical college receiver.
So that's two guys right there out on the perimeter, man. Jump balls, corner of the end zone, can elevate.
Exactly. Then you get Dylan Bell.
Yeah,
nothing needs to be said about this kid. If you haven't bought into Dylan Bell,
you better get on the train or get run over. Get run over because Dylan Bell's coming, baby.
Or we should say what Dabo said: buy all the stock you can in Dylan Bell.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, Dylan Bell. We get London Humphreys. You may be asking who? Vandy transfer, all
number 84.
I think he should be 84.
Or
maybe we retire Lad's number.
Yeah, there you go.
We need to.
Yeah, Humphreys will be a player, man.
Humphreys
I'm excited about him.
And he's fast.
Yeah.
He's going to be that burner.
I remember that touchdown he scored against Georgia.
Me too. Oh, and we looked at each other like, what the heck just happened? Yeah. And Rich Beck also remembers that. Yeah. And I don't know. I could be wrong about this. Do we get Arian Smith back?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we do.
I haven't heard anything about him leaving or anything.
No.
So, yeah, Arian Smith is back.
All three of those guys have an incredible amount of speed,
man.
Okay?
Speed.
So we got the guys who can go up, get the jump.
I like how you broke this down
in
the categories. This is good, Clark. This is good.
You got the speedsters. Then you get kind of your just do it all. Your slot guys. I don't know. Your Dominic Lovett.
Yeah.
You got Anthony Evans. Now, Anthony Evans, young buck, he had a touchdown catch in the Orange Bowl, actually. Anthony Evans, I think, is going to step up this year.
Passes the eye test.
He does. And he makes for a really good punt return.
Yeah, he had a good return in the SEC championship.
Yeah, he did. So a lot of speed there. Dominic Lovett, man, I think he's really going to come onto the scene as well this year. You're going to see a lot of him, especially in the slot. Can't forget about another receiver transferring in, Michael Jackson III, USC transfer. Don't know much about him. I've heard some good things, but, unproven.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's some – and then also Nitro Tuggle. He's a 4-star
Great
freshman.
name.
Yeah.
5-star name.
I mean, if that doesn't scream, I'm a wide receiver, I don't know what does.
Nitro Tuggle.
Come on, Nitro. Man. 4-star freshman. Once again, we got some unproven pieces, but, man, there's a lot of good pieces already here, and I really believe in this wide receiver room. Let's not forget about Oscar Delp. Obviously, he's no Brock Bowers, but I think he's hungry to prove himself and to be the guy.
Yes. Yeah, I agree, man. I mean, I think he'll be guy another year playing, more snaps under his belt. Veteran guy will be coming in the next year, kind of be the leader of that room now, right? And then you get Lawson Lucky, who's got a year under his belt coming in. So, shoot, man, we'll see. I mean, Pierce.
Yeah.
I mean, get Sperling, him. Yeah, Sperling. He was banged up a little bit last year, so get him healthy and good to go. I mean, three guys who are just freaks, man, and shouldn't be compared to number 19 because number 19 is in a class of his own. But when you take him out of the equation, you look at these guys; they're pretty dang good, and they're some of the best talent in that tight end room, even without number 19 that Georgia's ever seen. I mean, and the tip of the hat, Todd Hartley.
Yeah, agreed. Last kind of bold prediction, early prediction, if you will. For 2024. Adam, I got a freshman that I'm really excited about. People also out there, you may be excited about this guy too. You may not have ever heard of him. Whatever the case may be, I think Sokovie White
really, Clark,
is going to be a breakout player.
Okay, all right.
Now, I'm not saying this upcoming year,
right?
But I just think that's a name you should look out for. This guy's a 3-star wide receiver recruit out of Cartersville, Georgia. I think he's just got a good head on his shoulders.
He's got the it factor.
He's got the it factor.
Okay.
I listened to an interview he had with somebody on YouTube, I'm telling you, this kid,
you just like him.
I just like him.
All right, I love that. I love that.
His demeanor kind of reminds me of Lad McConkey.
Okay,
and he's a 3-star recruit. Yeah, so was Lad.
There you go.
He wasn't offered. He wasn't offered a whole lot of different places. I think Georgia was probably one of the only ones that truly gave him a serious offer.
We will remember this on February 15th. That you stated this.
Yes.
It's February 15th, 2024. I like it.
Once again, I don't know if he'll show out this year. He very well could. I hope he does, even if he's just a punt returner or something. But I think that's a guy to look out for.
Okay.
I'm doing my best Logan Waldrop here.
There you go. That's right.
Just throwing the name out there and seeing if it sticks.
There you go. Well, hopefully you hit like he did on those guys.
Oh, Lad McConkey and Brock Bowers.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right.
Unreal. Oh, man.
Oh, that's good stuff,
Adam,
man.
any bold predictions? Surely got something for us here. Anything that you just want to throw out there and say, I told you so?
Branson, no. No, I'm not going to say that. Not yet.
You're going to say one.
I was about to claim very out there of leading rusher.
Wow.
But I'm not ready to do that yet. I will go out on a limb and say that not a limb, but the most valuable player for the University of Georgia in 2024 is, obviously Carson Beck is good, but the one you think like, oh my, who's going to have the biggest wow factor is Dylan Bell.
Oh,
biggest playmaker.
Okay.
The go-to guy will be Dylan Bell.
I love that, Adam. That's a good. It's sneaky. It's kind of underrated.
Yeah,
I really
just
like
a guy.
that.
What he did, man, that Tennessee game and on once he was kind of stopped rotating from wide receiver to running back. His growth has just been unbelievable, unbelievable talent, and that's going to be my guy this year.
I love it.
My guy, Dylan Bell.
Yeah,
and I think when we look back, like just absolute stud, the big time playmaker. When there needs to be a play made without number 19 or 84 there for Beck to go to, look out for 86.
Nice, I like
big
it. Big
third down man.
Whew.
Dylan Bell go up
hit him
football.
Yeah.
Hit him. Big time plays, man. Extended drives. I think we'll look back and be like, man, look at what Dylan Bell did for us to win that football game.
I like it.
So
a lot of young guys, a lot of stuff to prove this year. We got to get back on top, and that's supremely important.
Murder's row schedule.
Yeah,
it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
It
a lot
will
of
be.
new stuff coming. Woo!
We're talking about
open up. Let's go.
I know. Last thing.
All right.
I want to put this out there. This isn't that hot. This isn't that hot of a take, but I definitely think we're going to see Carson Beck at least in New York. I'm not going to say he's going to win the thing.
I was going to say he was going to win the thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Don't put that on. Let's knock on wood. Let's knock on some wood.
You're right. Hey, you're just getting a little too excited in February.
You talk about the best quarterbacks in this league right now. You can't not talk about Carson Beck.
You can't. You can't, man. It is huge having a returning starting quarterback in the SEC coming back, man.
And I thought about this the other day, right quick. We'll end this thing. I thought about what Stetson was in 21 season. He was good. Good quarterback. Good quarterback. I think he did a lot of good things, really good things.
Right.
But look at his. Go back and just watch what he did.
Of years starting under his belt. 4 years starting under his belt. Right.
And go back and see what he did in 22 that next season. And I think we're going to see that same kind of jump.
Yeah.
In Carson. And not saying that Carson didn't play well. I think Carson played great last year. But you want to talk about elite, just arm talent, really relying on your arm, and Mike Bobo putting a lot of faith in Carson. This is the year he steps up in a big, big way for this team.
I agree, Clark. And you think about it, national championship quarterbacks. When's the last time there's been a national championship quarterback that was not a starter the previous year and won the national? J.J. McCarthy started in 22.
Yep.
Veteran guy, had his offense under control. He won it this year. Stetson won it. And then, I guess Stetson in 21 was the last one. But no, he started in 20. He started the majority of 2020. True. So, yeah, he
behind
came back.
Mathis.
Yeah. And then I know they had the saga with JT Daniels and all that, but still, he got some time under his belt. Mac Jones got a little bit of time when Tua got hurt in 19 before. So, anyway, what I'm trying to say is it is huge having a proven guy coming back, and especially with the talent of Carson Beck and how long he has been in the system at the University of Georgia, not only even before him having the reins all by himself last year. That you got to have that recipe, man. That in the quarterback room, and then a strong defensive front and the skill guy. Everything's there. Everything is there for a national championship, man. And depth, I think, is going to be even more important this year than ever before with the extended playoffs, with the murderer's row schedule, out of conference, in conference, when you guys coming in. And I think the team who wins it is going to have it's going to be depth on both sides of the line of scrimmage and in the trenches and in the skill position rooms.
Yeah, I agree. Oh man, what a fun time!
That was good. That was good. We needed that. I needed that.
Me too.
That was
me
good.
too.
That was good.
It's been a wild. I'm telling you, wild start to the off season for both of us. Adam, you started a new job.
Yeah, I did.
I'm doing some stuff.
You're doing some big stuff. You're doing some big stuff. So I apologize to everybody how we have been MIA, but we've had to get some stuff kind of going in our personal lives. Hope everybody's personal lives are going great. Miss y'all. Love y'all. Definitely. We'll be doing these shows, being in touch throughout the off season. Hopefully it'll slow down. We can get back to that. We can start doing some good things for G-Day. Spring practice is just going to be around the horizon, Clark. I mean, February will be over here in a few weeks, and March kind of get into it, and then G-Day in April, and then it's going in the summer, then fall camp, and it'll be here before we know it. But
exciting times.
Love everybody. Thanks everybody again for the support. Quick note, just wanted to add, just recent news has come out. Daryl Dickey, who's the son of Doug Dickey, who was the Florida and Tennessee coach, who's been an analyst past year or two. He is leaving the program, and Scott Cochran, longtime Alabama strength conditioning coach, a guy who came over. What year did he come over? 2021? 2020?
20, I think.
2020. 2020 as special teams coordinator first. Had some stuff happen, but he has left the program again right now. It was a leave of absence last time. This time he has left the program. I think what was the name? Golly, I forgot. I read the name. I forgot that guy who was being promoted to special teams coordinator.
Can't remember.
I don't think it's anything of Scott Cochran taking another job at another school, whether it be on field or back in the strength and conditioning role. I've not heard that. But that's I guess it's personal stuff going on with him. So prayers for him right now. But hey, maybe I'm wrong and he's going somewhere else to be a coach. But that's enough. But thank you for his contributions. Was on staff when Georgia won both national championships. Been the glory years the past few years. Guy's had a heck of a reputation doing what he's doing. And just wanted to add that, Clark. But hey, Kirby Smart's always prepared, man. I mean, got a guy right there waiting to get him to be the next man.
Exactly. Well, good stuff, Adam. Let's wrap this thing up. Put a bow
on it. Yeah, put a pin in it, baby. Yeah. Put a pin in it.
What you thinking? What you feeling for this off season and going into G-Day and spring and all this? I mean, what do you have to tell the people?
I mean, it's just exciting being a Georgia football fan, knowing you realistically, it's not shaded glasses with your team's colors, or in our case, red and black, just shaded glasses, thinking, oh, Georgia can win a national championship this year. It used to be, and I used to do that and be blinded by that. But now, here the past 3 or 4 years, man, even on back into that, it's been realistic that Georgia is one of the handful of teams that you could realistically say can win a national championship from February, even looking ahead in February right now. And that's exciting to know. That gives you some excitement going into the season and the off season, keeping up with spring football, summer, and who's winning spots in the spring, man. Going into G-Day, then into fall camp, man. But, February's tough right now. Not a lot of exciting things going on as far as, entertainment-wise and whatnot. So, I do look forward. I can get on Georgia message boards every day, reading updates and stuff, and just getting my fix. And I'm excited, Clark, to see what we come up with for shows this offseason. Oh, yeah. And hopefully we can pump some more out then more frequently than we have in the past, and especially since our little hiatus, and we'll kind of get back on the horse right here now with it. But anyway, just hope everybody is having a blessed offseason so far, and continue to be checking in with the Rose 60 Facebook page to see what we might have for a scheduled meetup at G-Day, Clark.
Yeah. We're going to make it happen.
Oh, it's going to happen. 100%. 100%. Well said. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good. Well, Clark, do you have anything else to say?
Go Dogs.
All right, everybody. I gotta end it.
Come on, Adam. I can't just go. I'm waiting for you to end this thing.
I was just making some notes. Okay, all right. I'm going to end this thing. Everybody getting just juiced about September, baby. Just 7 more months. 7 more months. 197 days, baby. Now, in all seriousness, everybody, I hope everybody is doing well. Enjoy the little things in life. We love y'all. Be just fired up about football, man. Yeah. Fired up about everything else you got going on. And till next time, go Dogs, baby.